Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to another episode of Being Present with Leonard. I have a number of questions that I would like to answer during this episode, but I would like to begin by reminding everyone who is viewing that it is so simple and easy to be present. It's as simple as noticing when you're in the mind. Notice when thoughts are arising. Now that's okay. You can't be against the thoughts or against the mind or against the ego. You can't be against the dream if you're lost in a dream. You just have to recognize it. Oh, I'm in the past, I'm in the future, I'm in my mind. That's okay. You can stay in the mind, you can continue in that way as long as you like, or you can gently adjust your focus and bring yourself present with something that is here in the moment with you. That's all it is. Even if you're only present for 3 or 4 seconds, it doesn't matter. At least you'll have a moment in the silence and peace that is presence. So it's not about how long you remain present. It's about what is your level of commitment, what is your level of intention to very gently and gradually and clearly and simply make a shift from the world of the mind, the past, the future, the world of ideas, concepts, beliefs, opinions, none of which are true. You need a certain level of commitment and intention to make that shift to the present moment, which is the doorway to the eternal now. So if you can see it in this moment, you can be present with it. If you can hear it, feel it, taste it, touch it, smell it, in this moment, you can be present with it. You can become enlightened washing the dishes. If you're very present as you wash the dishes, you're present in the movement of your body, you're present through your eyes as you look at the dish, you're present as you put the dish into the hot water, you can feel the warmth, you're very present with the warmth. Then you can be present with the smell of the soap in the water. So it can be just a beautiful present moment experience washing the dishes, walking from the garage to the kitchen. You can be present on that walk, or going for a walk out in the garden. It doesn't really matter where you are. You can be present no matter where you are or what you're doing. But it's up to you. You have to remember presence. You have to honor the present moment as the truth of life, the truth of who you are, the truth of oneness, the truth of God. You have to be honoring of the present moment. Now, how do you honor the present moment? Very simple, by being present. And not just by being present, but also by being open in love, gratitude, and generosity. Is your energy generous in this moment? Because I can assure you, the more generous, the more open, the more loving, the more grateful your energy, the more the present moment will open up and reveal its hidden secrets to you. There's so much more within the present moment that we can possibly imagine. Now, when you become present, if you're truly present, your mind will fall silent. And you just feel like you're here with everything that is here. And then you can make a shift. It just happens. You can't do it. It happens. But you make a shift, or a movement occurs where you're not just present with whatever's in the present moment with you, but now you are yourself of the present moment. It really is that simple. You slowly settle being present with what's here in the moment with you. If you can see it, hear it, etc., you can be present with it. And all of a sudden, you have that feeling that you're of the present moment in the same way the tree or the flower or the bird soaring across the sky is present and of the present moment. In fact, it's your true nature to be a fully awakened being in presence. Okay, so that's just a short reminder of the value of presence and how easy it is to be present. Now, of course, we have step 2 to this teaching, and I'm not going to go into that now, but step 2 is almost as important as step 1. Step 2 leads to mastery of the mind and ego. And it doesn't matter how long it takes, as long as you've somehow embraced within you the way of awakening, presence, mastery of the mind and ego. I won't explain it more for now. In fact, I think I've explained it quite well in earlier episodes. So I'm going to go to my first question. There were 3 questions submitted. This question is from George from the United Kingdom. And George asks, how does the present moment affect you? And how do you affect the present moment? Can one influence or change the present moment? Or can nothing be influenced? Kind wishes, from George. Okay, well, that's a pretty good question, actually. I like that question. How does the present moment affect you? If you're truly present and the dream is not intruding, then the first thing you're going to notice is that your mind falls silent. And as your mind falls silent, that's just the first level of silence. As your mind falls silent, suddenly a much deeper, infinite, expansive silence arises from the center of your being. And you feel such a deep, deep silence. And what goes along with the silence, of course, is peace. I would say silence and peace are the primary feelings that arise in presence, but also love. Now, it's a different kind of love than the love we're used to. It's a different kind of love. It's something that we're actually not familiar with until we experience it directly. But it's such an overwhelming, overpowering sense of love. Just love for everything you are. You recognize, wow, you are love, and everything you look at, everything you encounter is met with love. So silence, peace, love, truth. You're opening into the truth as you become present. What is the truth? It's beyond the mind's capacity to access. You can't access the truth with the mind, but the truth exists. Any moment you're truly present and experiencing this moment exactly as it is, free of your opinions, free of your projections, free of your past, free of your imagining into the future. All of that's gone. The dream is gone in this moment of presence. I don't mean permanently, but in this moment of deep presence, no dream, no past, no limiting beliefs, no repressed feelings, no judgments. You're just in a state of pure presence. So this profound silence opens in you, this sense of oneness. And of course, at the deeper levels of presence, as you've heard me speak of more than one time, at the deepest level or deeper levels of presence, you'll start to sense the presence that is in everything. Everything that is of the present moment has a presence, including you. And it's this presence that is in everything that I call God. It's not something I believe in at all. It's completely disconnected from any kind of belief or understanding. It's a direct experience of the presence that is in everything. And if your mind hasn't been contaminated too much by religion, as mine was not in my childhood or growing up, if your mind was not too contaminated, then you'll recognize instantly, wow, this is God. You won't say those words, but you'll know. Wow. Now, an even deeper level is the revealing of heaven on earth. So these are all the wonderful, amazing things that can open up for you as you become more and more present, as you settle in a very relaxed way into presence. But, let me add a but. But being present is not always like that. Sometimes presence is just remarkably ordinary. You're just here. Maybe going for a walk, washing the dishes, it doesn't matter what you're doing. But there's nothing magical happening, but you're present and you can feel it. You can sense you're present, which means if you're present, or more and more present, then you're not caught in the dream, you're not lost in the dream. The dream is a world of illusion. The world of the mind is a world of illusion, made up of all your past memories and all your past experiences and all your future imaginings together with all your ideas, concepts, beliefs, none of which really originate within you. They've all been instilled into us one way or another. Even our belief in time is an illusion. Time is an illusion. Without the mind and thought, there is no time. There's just this moment of now, the eternal moment of now. And that is available to each and every one of us, even in this moment, right now, or I should say only in this moment, right now. Just feel yourself opening into a beautiful, quiet, silent presence, one with everything that is here. Feeling the presence that is in everything. Even in the movement, as I move my hands, as I am in this moment, I can feel the presence, both in the space that my hands are moving into as I move up, but also down. I feel the presence in the hands. If I want to really tune into my body would be radiating presence. And of course, the same is true for everyone viewing this. So sometimes being present is extraordinary. Revelations arise out of the silence. Aha, one aha after the next. You start to recognize so much, and so much can be revealed to you about the nature of existence, the truth of God, the truth of who you are. And what is this journey all about? This journey we call life, lifetime after lifetime. What is the point to this journey? So sometimes the present moment is ordinary, and that's okay. If you don't accept the present moment as ordinary and celebrate it, feel grateful, then the extraordinary will not reveal itself to you. The ordinary and the extraordinary are equal. No above, no below. Everything is equal. There's no discernment, no judgment. There's discernment, but there's no judgment. There's no classifying. There's no levels. You're just either present. You can be more and more present, more deeply present. It's just a question of focus. Adjust your focus. Now you're here. Right now, I'm just here with the camera lens, which means if you're viewing right now, I'm here with you. So that's one way that presence affects you. And how do you affect the present moment? Well, let me tell you, the present moment is already here, full in its fullness, in its wholeness, in its completion. But as you become present with it, as you open up into these deeper levels of prayerful presence, loving presence, deep, deep love, acceptance, compassion, just this moment as it is, as this opens up, you'll notice that everything starts to appear illuminated. Through your consciousness, you are illuminating the present moment. Now, the truth is, it's already fully illuminated. It's illuminated from within. Everything in the present moment is illuminated from within, and it's illuminated with the presence of God. But when we're in the mind, when we're in the dream, we're in a state of separation. We're separate from the present moment, which is where God is. And so we don't experience this illumination. But when you bring the level of consciousness, gratitude, generosity, and love to the present moment, as I'm describing it, then suddenly everything might, I'm not saying it will, but it's quite likely or quite possible that everything will suddenly appear illuminated and filled with the presence of God, filled with the presence of love. Everything in oneness. That's about as good as it gets. So that's how we can affect the present moment. I don't think it changes anything. The present moment is what it is. We are not that powerful. I have no interest in being that powerful that I can affect the present moment. As far as I'm concerned, that's God's business, not mine. My business is to bring myself to where God is. That's all. Bring myself to where God is, which is in the present moment. God is the silent presence at the very heart of all things present. God is real. God is here now as the silent presence in all things present. But we are not here now. We are not here now. We've disconnected. We've gone too far into the world of separation and illusion, called the mind, the dream, all of it. And we've disconnected from that which is ever present within us and around us. So now there's some other ways that the present moment can influence you and affect you. You see, this is incredibly important, and it's more connected to step 2 of this teaching than step 1. Sometimes my words just stop, so I have to wait for them to come. I don't know what's coming. So give me a moment. I'm just here. My mind is silent. That's the simple truth. Okay. Being present brings about a huge shift in your day-to-day life, and I'll tell you why. Without presence, you're lost in the dream, with all those limiting beliefs, repressed feelings, judgments, losing yourself in others, all the things I've been speaking about in these episodes. You're just lost in the dream. But as you become present and you open into a more refined level of consciousness, you become incredibly aware and alert, and it becomes so much easier for you to recognize what the mind is up to. It's so much easier for you to recognize thoughts as they arise, feelings as they surface. And you recognize thoughts and feelings without being involved in the content. The thoughts and feelings clearly have content, but you can recognize the feelings and the thoughts without getting involved in the content. That's not your business. The content is always from the past or future. So just be present with the thought, recognize it for what it is. Know that all thought takes you either into the past or into the future, depending on whether it's a past or future thought. And then if you believe in those thoughts, you get caught in the mind, you get imprisoned within the world of the mind, which is what has happened to the whole of humanity. Now, I'll tell you one more thing before I move to the next question. There's only one way that the mind and the ego can influence you and keep you where it wants you, which is in the dream, in the past and future, in the mind, in the story. There's only one way. All that the mind or the ego can do is generate a thought with an associated feeling. And if you identify with that thought and that feeling, you buy into it, then now it's got you. Now you're in the past or the future. You're caught in the dream. But if you simply recognize it for what it is, no, thought, thinking, oh, a feeling of hurt is arising or sadness. Judgment. I just noticed judgment arising. You don't fix anything. You just reveal everything. Acknowledge, confess, reveal. Own, acknowledge, confess, reveal. Whatever arises within the mind, within the dream, because when you're present, a space has opened up between you and the dream. That's what needs to happen. A space that opens up between you and the mind, you and the dream, so that from presence, it's very easy to recognize what's arising from within the dream, within the mind. It's very easy to recognize limiting beliefs as they filter through into your life. It's very easy to come into right relationship with your repressed feelings if you're present. The more present you are, the easier it will be, because in presence there's no judgment and there's no fear. So you let it all up, who cares? So as you become more and more present, you become much more a master of the mind and ego. And if you become fundamentally established in presence, I am here. God, it is accomplished. I am here. Then we could say that the true master has awakened within you. Who is the true master? It is the I am, that I am, or the I am that you are. And the ego, I won't go into more detail on this, but the ego is actually programmed by God to surrender only to the true master, arising from within. So many of us are very happy to find the outer master and project everything onto the outer master, the guru or whoever, whatever. But sooner or later, we have to bring it all back. We have to own everything that's negative and unconscious and not so pleasant and present within us. We have to own it all and reveal the story. How do I get caught in the dream? Who am I when I'm caught in the dream? What is holding me in the dream? What am I doing or thinking or feeling that's holding me in the dream? What do I need to let go of to come out of the dream? How can I overcome the resistance of the ego? How does the ego trick me and pull me back into the past and future? All these questions can be very easily responded to as you become more and more present because of the space. Now, there's a bigger and bigger space between you in presence and the mind, the ego, and the thoughts and feelings as they arise up here. So that's a real value of presence, and it cannot be underrated because it will transform your life. It's as simple as when you're present, you are love, you are acceptance, you are compassion, you are empowered from within, you exist in the realization of oneness. Now, this is all you. It's not something you do. It's who you are. You're all of that. And so naturally, as you become more and more present, all of that begins to flow into your day-to-day life. People feel it. The way you relate to the world changes. The way you relate to others changes. Your sense of yourself changes. It all changes as you become more and more present. Okay, so George, I hope that answers your question. Let's see. How long have I been talking? Okay. This question is from Arietta from California. Hi, Leonard. I was wondering about guilt and self-forgiveness. Could you say something about how to do it? Thanks, Arietta. Well, I'm going to begin by saying nobody anywhere on planet Earth has ever been guilty. Nobody is guilty, but everyone is lost in unconsciousness. And the further you are lost in the unconscious world of the mind with all the repressed feelings, the limiting beliefs, the angst that can build up within us, the hurt, the sadness, the pain that can build up within us, then it's not guilt, it's human unconsciousness, lost in the mind, lost in the dream, me, it's all about me, or whatever it is that shows up in that way. So as far as I'm concerned, nobody is guilty. But if you do feel that there's guilt still within you, no problem. You don't try and get rid of it. You bring it to consciousness, own, acknowledge, confess, go for a walk and tell the tree, or tell God in the form of a tree, I'm so guilty. And the tree will say, what are you guilty of? And then you can answer the tree. But here's the catch. Here's the issue. God is completely and utterly without judgment. That's a simple truth. Religions haven't found their way to that yet. It's all based on fear and judgment. But the truth is God, which is also the present moment, God and presence, is utterly and completely without judgment. So how could you possibly be guilty? Unless you're looking to unconscious humans who want to blame you and make you guilty so they feel better about themselves. Don't fall for that. You are not guilty. But supposing there is a feeling of guilt, no problem. How do you do self-forgiveness? Well, first of all, you don't. You don't ask yourself for forgiveness. That's like a split between you. But what you can do is be very present. And this is how I would do it. This is how I share in my retreats. It's a meditation. It's really the repentance meditation or the forgiveness meditation. Beloved God, if I have ever harmed anyone in this lifetime or any other lifetime, if I've ever harmed anyone, hurt anyone with my unconsciousness, I ask for your forgiveness. I ask for their forgiveness, the forgiveness from those that I've harmed. Even if it was 20 lifetimes ago, it doesn't matter. So God, I ask for your forgiveness. I pray for your forgiveness. I ask for their forgiveness. And this is most important. And I pray for their healing. Please heal them of any harm done by me in this lifetime or any other. And what you'll find is most surprising is energetically anyway, certainly God forgives. There's no question about that. God might even say nothing to forgive, but in any event, the energy of forgiveness and release will be there. And I've never encountered anyone from any lifetime who hasn't also forgiven. Because when your request for forgiveness, when your repentance is true and sincere, there's no question about it. Forgiveness will follow. But it has to be spoken. The words have to be spoken from presence. So don't ask yourself to forgive yourself. Ask God to forgive you, and ask those you might have harmed, even if you don't know who that might have been. If I've ever harmed anyone in any lifetime, God, please, I ask for your forgiveness, their forgiveness, and please heal them. And you know the great mystery of our extraordinary existence is that that's more than likely going to happen and continue to happen. Because from God's perspective, there's no time and everything is possible. Now, when I speak of God, I want to make it very clear. I do not in any way personalize God. And it's not God that I believe in. If I'm not present and present enough to feel and sense the presence of God, then I don't go down that path if I'm in my mind, well, then I'll say the Lord's Prayer or something, who knows. Anyway, that's my answer to that question, and hopefully it's helpful to everyone who's viewing in this moment. Okay, this last question is from Ying Chia from Australia. Dear Leonard, thank you for your wonderful teachings. I was so grateful to have met you on Zoom last month. I became more and more joyful in life. Sometimes I get caught in my story where I am super sensitive, competitive, and beating up myself often. I found that once in a while it is hard to bring myself back to the present. Now my strategy is when I get caught in my old story, I try to think about what I can do for others and keep spreading love. I have been running a spiritual learning group for years and enjoy doing so, but I'm not sure if I should stop because I realize I'm not always speaking from the present. Is this a good strategy? I feel doing things for others really brings me lots of satisfaction, but I don't want to feed my ego. Please kindly advise. Thank you very much. Ying Xia from Australia. Well, that's rather beautiful. I love hearing stories like that. So the first thing I'll say is, oh my goodness, Ying Xia, no, don't you dare stop spreading love, doing things for others, as long as it's coming from your heart and it's authentic and genuine. You're not looking for some reward, even a reward in heaven or from God. You're not looking for that. It's just part of your natural expression. You just enjoy sharing, giving to others, and sharing love. I don't know how it gets any better than that. So don't doubt yourself and don't question yourself. So that's the first thing I would say. But how do you know if it is what I'm describing? The answer is you're not going to know with your mind. It's an inner knowing. You know when you're present. You know when you're feeling generous and loving. You know when you want to reach out to other people. You just know. Just trust the natural flow of your own being, really. That's the key to it all. To be present and responsive to the present moment, but also trust the natural flow of your own being, not coming from here, the mind and the ego, but flowing from here. That's where love flows from. That's where truth flows from. That's where oneness opens up. It's from here, in this moment. You cannot be present a moment ago, and you cannot be present a moment from now. It's very precise. Are you present in this moment? Are you here now? Everything else drops away. There's just you present with what is here, in the silence, in the oneness. This is it. The only other thing you mentioned was you've been running a spiritual learning group for years. Well, it depends what you're teaching, and it depends if you're taking them into the mind with spiritual concepts, etc., etc. Spiritual concepts, rituals, practices, none of that is necessary. The only thing people really need is that invitation into presence and to know how to be present in the very simplest way, But then that's just the beginning. Then, okay, once I get caught back into the story, how do I deal with that? So it's almost a continuous step one, you're present, then suddenly you're caught in the dream. Step two, no problem. You know how to deal with the dream, be with the dream in a way that will release you from the dream. Now you're present again. Step one, step two, step one, step one, step one. Oh, step two, no problem. You know, on this path of awakening, there's no success or failure. It's not possible to fail. And it's really not possible to succeed because those words don't belong in presence because there's only this moment. Success and failure is referential. It's referring to something other than this moment. It's a comparing with something other than this moment. So I would suggest, just based on what you've written, Yung Chia, that presence is opening beautifully with that. So go with that, read passages from my book, show people how to be present, maybe show a video one evening, just a 5-10 minute video, and then open a discussion and guide people through it. That would be my suggestion. Okay, so that's about it, folks. I know some of you are ordering books because we've got a whole bunch of new orders from Amazon to fulfill. Don't forget this one here. This is, I would say, the most significant book that I've written, really because God asked me to do it, as simple as that. Okay, so if you feel moved, buy it on Amazon. There's all my other books too. Journey into Now is the one that has the most comprehensive outlining of this teaching, particularly in relation to step 2. And it also talks about the soul's journey and who and what God is and how to be in right relationship, etc., etc. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Being Present with Leonard. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, I would be grateful if you would click on the like and the subscription button and the notification button. Because the truth is, why not expose this teaching or introduce this teaching to more and more people? The whole point of this is for everyone to awaken. We all need to awaken. So give everyone the opportunity to at least be exposed to this teaching. And then they can decide for themselves. Okay. So my love to you, my blessings and presence, oneness, love, peace, and silence. Okay.